Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for standing by and welcome to the MBDA Virtual Sips and Sandwich webinar. My name is Gabriela Zambrano and I'm the director of the Houston MBDA Business Center. This is our 7th year of offering subs and sandwiches, and this is the second virtual subs for 2021. During today's webinar, attendees will be in listen-only mode. There will be a Q&A session at the end of today's call. My colleague, Mark Praigg, is going to monitor the Q&As. If you have any questions during the presentation, you may submit it online by entering it in the Q&A panel. As a reminder, this presentation is being recorded and the presentation will be available via email with the participants. Now, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Mark Praigg and Dierdre Sutton, business advisors, and our office manager, Jessica Vasquez. Today, we have the pleasure to meet with block companies. This is how the event will go. Block companies will introduce themselves and then make a presentation. Then we'll break into questions and answer, and we'll have a hard stop at 12:30. And now I'll turn things over to Dierdre Barrett, Director of Diversity, Inclusion, and Marketing at Block Companies. Dierdre.
Good morning, Gabriela. Good morning, everyone. The Block team is pleased to be here today and ready to build success. We have Jason Keller online, our managing partner, and our other team members are here as well. Today, we like to say that Block builds success. We bring the expertise and the complexity of multifamily construction. We bring the commitment to teamwork and partnership, and we support community engagement and outreach. We are proud to be a catalyst for impacting affordable housing right here in Houston. Over the next 20 minutes, our manager partner, Jason Keller, and myself will present Block Companies, building the new look for success. Next slide. Today, I will start our discussion with a look at who Block is, our commitment to diversity. Jason Keller will then discuss our upcoming projects and how to bid successfully with Block, and then we will address your questions. Next slide. At Block, we like to say our number one value, or that fourth wall of construction performance, is the community. We are all about developing transparency, ongoing transparency and trust with the community, removing barriers and providing equal opportunity on our building projects, and making sure that we have diverse projects and we're doing our own part to help our communities get back to work. Next slide. So here's a look at our Block partners. As mentioned, Jason Keller online with us today is the managing partner for Block. He started Block Companies 15 years ago in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He has an expertise in all things multifamily construction and construction overall, and we like to reinforce our specialty is in affordable housing, with about 95% of our projects right now in affordable housing multifamily projects. We also want you to get to know our senior partner, Stephen Keller, who is responsible for business development, and our junior partner is PJ Simpson, who is our vice president of operations. From the top through the field to the job site, we are committed to economic opportunity here at Block Companies, setting the expectations for MWBE partnerships on our job projects, as well as setting expectations with our subcontractor partners for community hiring. That's through the bid process, the pre-bid process, one-on-one conversations with potential subcontractors, as well as through to pre-construction. We also advise and empower and encourage our partners, our subcontractor partners, to participate in our job fairs that we do, typically 2 during the life of the project. Next slide. reinforcing that Block is all about building economic opportunity through the ongoing solicitation. We are here with MBDA today, ongoing solicitation of minority, women, and Section 3 businesses, small businesses, subcontractor businesses. We are earning the public's trust, and we are re-emphasizing our commitment to community building by providing meaningful work through our Section 3 businesses and Section 3 worker partnerships, as well as our MWBE small businesses. Next slide. Reinforcing that Block has a diversity, equity, and inclusion team here at Block. I'm responsible for diversity, equity, inclusion, as well as marketing, supporting, offering ongoing support by participating in trade organizations and other opportunities in the community to support small business, to provide a vision for DE&I internally in our organization and externally, a workforce that reflects the diversity in the communities, for instance, in Houston, where we build, where we work, live, serve, and build, utilizing a spectrum of talent in every community, and also reaching back to encourage future leaders through internship programs. That's just a small example of the community outreach that we do through Block companies. Next slide. Our leadership in the community is exhibited through, again, our educational partnerships, as well as our advocacy, trade, and economic memberships in organizations and through initiatives involved with those organizations. We have been recognized as a majority construction firm of the year through the Houston Procurement Organization, and we are in committee roles as well as board member roles with many of these trade organizations. Block wants to emphasize that from the field to the job site, we have a commitment in community outreach, and you'll hear more in the future about the Building Blocks Gateway program. Next slide. Okay, so at Block, we are a multifamily builder. We'd like to emphasize that we are multifamily. Our project portfolio is extensive. All of our subcontractors are skilled in multifamily construction. Success is what we have delivered here at Block since 2005. Currently, we are building in Texas, Georgia, and Louisiana. Block is nationally recognized, and we have an active license in 6 states. We are the winner of the prestigious National Excellence in Construction Pyramid Award. Success is grounded in the Block company mission toward providing superior construction solutions with unsurpassed professionalism, whether the project is large scale with innovative features, multiple stories, or on a podium, or with varying amenities. We are a multifamily builder. Next slide. We also want to emphasize that we are an affordable housing builder. Houston ranks first in the state and 5th in the United States for having the most severe housing shortages. Block is committed to revitalizing Houston communities by providing practical and quality housing options. The need for affordable housing in Houston will likely continue to increase. Next slide. In order to build long-term sustainable relationships, we are seeking to identify minority, women, small business enterprises that have a track record of delivering quality work at competitive pricing to team with Block on our multifamily projects as we expand our Texas footprint. Block supports MBDA member success. Next slide. Here is an example. We'd like to put in the spotlight some of our subcontractors here for you today. You're looking at our project standard on the Heights. Rye-Brace construction framer, Richard Mendoza, is a part of our subcontractor family at Block. Next slide. Another spotlight on Ruben Mercado with Ibsen Contractors, and this is McKee City Living. He's a NAMAC board member, and he's also a member of our subcontractor family. Next slide. Just a little bit about all the subcontractor outreach that we do. What you're seeing on the screen are the flyers for several of our projects that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. Cowan Place, the Oleanders, and Apartments on Caroline. On that second page of that flyer, we take pride in demonstrating our commitment to our estimator responsibilities so that subcontractors that are looking at these projects know which estimators they are to be in contact with regarding a particular scope of work. We wanted to highlight that for you as one of our key communication tools with the subcontractor community. We also are doing extensive outreach to the minority subcontractor community and inspiring the subcontractor community to hire locally. With that, next slide. I'll now turn it over to managing partner Jason Keller, who will take us through Block, what we like to call the building blocks for success at Block companies. Jason?
Thanks so much, Dierdre. Everybody, good day, good afternoon. It's almost afternoon. Glad to be here. I want to talk to you a little bit about building blocks. Next slide. Our subcontractors literally are our family. We are a company who does our very best to communicate as clearly as we can with everyone, because we all know communication is a key to success, or a huge key to success. Teamwork and working together. As Dierdre said, we focus primarily on affordable housing. Roughly 95% of our revenue right now is all on affordable housing across several states. We encourage the minority subcontractors and vendor base not only just to look at possibly jobs in Houston, but if you do travel, we offer those opportunities and would love to bring you with us. I'll tell you, Dierdre made a very important statement I want to restate, is the people and the companies that we use to construct our projects need and must reflect the people that we serve. And that is a very diverse population, it goes the whole spectrum. So we really try as much as we can to involve everyone we can. And we also know that being a MWSBE Section 3 firm, et cetera, you might need a little help. We have in-house compliance that we're here to help you. Dierdre's here to help. And we want to see you all grow. I don't want to get too far off, but our Ruben Mercado started out on McKee with us. He's on his second job right now with us on Avenue 34, and it was a little bit bigger contract. He's done a great job. So, just as an example, we do try to keep people who are working with us, and it's not always perfect. There's bumps in the road. This is construction, but we work through it together and we continue. And we want you all to prosper and grow as we do too. Next slide, please. Okay, new bidding opportunities at Block. We have quite a few. This is showing different places that we work. Obviously, that's a picture of Houston. We have two projects for the city of Houston ongoing right now, McKee City Living and Avenue on 34. The Oleanders at Broadway just kind of shows we're a little bit out of town. That's on Galveston. That project just bid. However, we are still going to have our Section 3 and our job fair where we can still possibly pair communities together, subcontractors together to work. So reach out if you're interested in working on the Galveston project. The Stop 6 project is bidding. It bids actually the 30th next week, and it's in Fort Worth. It is phase 1 of 6 phases. We have been awarded phase 1, and maybe hopefully if we do a great job all together, we can go to phase 2. But if you do travel or you have an office there or something in Fort Worth, love to talk to you. Next slide, please. This is, as Dierdre said, some of our marketing literature here. It outlines the project, shows you a street view of what it's going to look like. And again, what we really try to communicate very clearly to everybody is who do we talk to? Because I know you call a lot of general contractors and you get voicemails or you get just, kind of maybe the runaround. We're not perfect, but what we try to do is, if you notice, we go to every specification manual. We list every single specification section that is we are looking for trades and subcontractors and vendors on, and each one is assigned to an estimator so they know it very well. At the bottom of each sheet is the direct email address to that estimator, so you can immediately get straight to them, and they better reply, or not. If not, you call me and they will reply quickly. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a similar advertisement. This is for the project in Galveston called the Oleanders. It's on 5 city blocks. And again, you can see lots of different colors, and it's a little hard to see at the bottom, I guess, on WebEx. But again, every estimator is color-coded by trade so you can get straight to them. Next slide. This particular project, the Apartments on Caroline, is located obviously in Houston. We've already had a pre-bid. That's okay if you didn't attend. It bids next week. It's a great project. This is a PSH project, permanent supportive housing. There's a huge need for it. It is on the very early end or the beginning end of affordable housing, meaning there's a lot of services offered with this by the developer, such as treatment for alcoholism, drug addiction. They try to get people back into functioning that have had, a tough time. And these are really important projects. And the next one, I think, let's go to the next slide, if you don't mind. That is the outline as well by estimator trade of Caroline. So that's real similar. Next slide. Okay, this is another, I was going to tell you, in addition to the Apartments on Caroline, Temenos is also a public supportive housing development. Again, it is going to take people who are the most in need and try to give them not only a place to live, but to give them workforce training, medical care, a lot of things. This one we have not sent out for bid yet, but you can see bidding will start in May. So be on the lookout. Caroline, we just sent out. Temenos will be sending out soon. Both of those are really, really good jobs, and it has a massive impact on the community. We're proud to be part of those two projects with the owner, HP Development. Next slide, please. All right, building blocks. This is a great quote. The lifeblood of a contractor is accurate bidding. Without very detailed estimates, a contractor cannot compete, cannot complete a project, and cannot stay in business. As you see, the Association of General Contractors stated that, which we agree wholeheartedly in. So I see I'm almost out of time, but I'm going to try to go quicker just to give you a little idea of how you can get to do business with Block. Next slide, please. Okay, this is, everybody please pay attention. This is our subcontractor information form. This is kind of our lifeblood of getting to know you. Even if you have filled one out previously for us, we always ask on each project to fill it out again, so we always have accurate records of everything. It's very simple. It's not that complicated. We ask you, I always say name, rank, and serial number. What's your background? Do you have multifamily experience? We ask you about your safety program. We ask you about your MWSBE or Section 3 certifications. We ask you what kind of compliance you are accustomed to, whether it's LCP Tracker or SAM.gov or E-Verify and things of that nature. We also talk to you about schedule, meaning what have you done in the past? What size projects? We do ask for references. We also ask if you can bond. We're going to talk about bonding and insurance here a little bit more, so I'm going to kind of skip over them right now. Bonding and banking. If you cannot bond, who's your banking relationship with? Do you have a line of credit? If so, how much? Who your banker is? And as I said, references. This just gives us a quick snapshot. So I think it's so important, because if we just get a bid in from somebody, and look, so I know you all know, you don't want to just automatically take the lowest bid and just say, oh yeah, he's got everything and do it, because it could hurt you. It could hurt the general, it could hurt the job. We want to make sure that we take the extra time to talk to you and to really make sure that this is a job that we can both perform successfully together. Next slide, please. Okay, we talked about insurance. Everybody has insurance, hopefully. What we have here, and we do send this out with every invitation to bid on all of our projects. These are our minimum insurance requirements that we require of all subcontractors. It's equal across the board for you to work on our projects. Please be aware, if you don't have these limits or certain items that we do require, that's okay. All you have to do is call your insurance agent, literally send them the sample that we provide to y'all and tell them, give me your price to comply with this, and just add that cost to your bid. It does not make you higher than anyone else because, as I said, everyone has to have this. You cannot step on our job site without these minimum requirements. So everyone will be paying for the same thing. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a little bit, we're going to go through how we look at things on a bid day and, maybe the day or two before and talk about some things. Next slide. Okay, be available to discuss your proposal. Please do. I know a lot of us are busy, including myself. We're running from meetings, we're running from job sites. Holy cow, OSHA showed up, or, God forbid, somebody got hurt or you're caught in traffic. Please, when you send your bids in, have your cell phone or some way that estimator can get right back with you, because when we vet your proposals, we almost all the time are going to have questions to either confirm or to ask. Include all your contact information on your bid. I know this sounds elementary, but a lot of people send us a bid and it's got an email address and it'll literally say like drywall and a number. Well, we really need to get back with you and talk to you more about it. So please do that. I can't stress this enough. Adhere to all plans, specifications, and addenda. I got to say this because it happens over and over and over. As we all know, designers do their very best, and we do as contractors and subcontractors to comply with the plans and specifications. But I have yet, in over 30 years of doing this, seen a perfect set of plans and specs. There are conflicts, y'all. And when you look at the drawings, you cannot disregard the specifications. You have to read the specifications, read the addendum, read the plans, bid what you see. And if there is a conflict, I'm going to give a very simple example. The specifications say for the framer to use stainless steel fasteners. The drawings say on the structurals galvanized. You have to tell me I'm bidding per plans, and hey, I think you can use galvanized. It says it on your plans. Here's a deduct to use galvanized nails. That is so important. Y'all are the experts. I like to say a general contractor is a jack of all trades, master of none. You all are the masters. Each subcontractor, you know your trade better than we do. So we encourage voluntary value engineering suggestions, but we must follow the plans and specifications, bid it that way, and then you can submit an alternate bid. I know a lot of times in multifamily, people say, oh, it's just another apartment complex, I know what to bid. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, affordable housing is a very niche market. And when I tell you, if it's written in black and white in those plans or specs, the financing agencies and everybody does not play. They hold us accountable, and they will hold you all accountable. If there's a conflict and they're going to make us, and it says it in the specs, it's in every single specification, that they're going to make us do the more expensive one. So always qualify it and we'll be okay. Complete scope of work and proposal with inclusions and exclusions is just basically what I went through. Make sure we do issue Davis-Bacon wage rates. All these projects are federally funded in some way or another, and they all require that we pay Davis-Bacon wage rates. For the city of Houston, just a little bit more, even if the Davis-Bacon wage rate says you can pay below $15 an hour, in the city of Houston, you cannot. Make sure you are familiar with the city and county compliance requirements. Call Amanda, call Sandra at our office, bug them, light their phones up. They will help you. Call Dierdre. They experts, and we may refer y'all to them sometimes for assistance. Again, communicate with all of us, and that's great. Another thing at Block is pricing confidentiality is key. I'm here to tell you now, everybody, there are a lot of subcontractors, and we understand that call in and say, can I have a bid tab? We're always going to say, I'm sorry, but no. Well, how did I fall in? All I can say is you have to bid your best number. Everybody has their own company structure, their own overhead, their own crews, their equipment, materials. We all know how to bid. It's just how you put it together. We do not share numbers. Think about it. If you call and say, hey, where did everybody compare? Well, if I gave you everybody else's numbers, would you want me giving your number to everyone else? So we don't give numbers out. We'll tell you if you're reasonable or not, but just do your best. And if you follow these rules, sooner or later, we're going to work together. Next slide. This is our subcontractor support team. Give you a little name and face here. Top left is Amanda LeBlanc, our Director of Compliance. Myself in the middle. One of our senior estimators, Adrian Villarreal in Houston. Lower left is Hien No. I'm sure a lot of you have spoken to Hien. He's a hardworking young man. He's in Houston. Adam Town is also a senior and lead estimator for us. Adam actually just led the charge on our project in Galveston. And then you have spoken to Dierdre today and heard from her. Next slide. All right, hopefully, we went over. I apologize, but I wanted to get everything out to you all. And again, I just want to stress, we cannot be successful without you all. It's just not possible. So we want to utilize everybody's knowledge, bring it together, and be a success. And I will tell you, building affordable housing is not easy. If you've done just market rate multifamily, you will be surprised at how different affordable housing is. There's a tremendous amount of compliance and paperwork. The different cities and counties and perhaps developers and the financing, and we relay all this to you, of course, but it all plays a role other than just saying, there's so many 2x4s, there's so many yards of concrete, there's so much to paint. So there's a lot more that goes into it, and we're happy to help educate you. Honestly, if y'all have been doing a lot, you can educate us, and we're happy to listen. It's a two-way street with us. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay. Our first question is, do block companies have need for staffing companies?
It depends on each individual project. And I guess by staffing, I would follow up and say, there's administrative staffing positions sometimes, or do you mean perhaps skilled or unskilled trade staffing? So the answer is yes. And it also, again, depends on the location, but please send your information into us by all means.
Has the pre-bid already happened for Caroline? No. The pre-bid is this Friday at 10 a.m. as Dierdre has reminded me 20 times via text messages. So good morning. Where can we download a copy of the subcontractor vendor information sheet to provide our company information to block companies? Thank you for your time today.
Dierdre, do we have that in a, okay, you answer that one. I apologize.
Yes, we will provide, this presentation is provided to MBDA along with the information form or a link to the information form for everybody that's participating here today to get.
And keep in mind, we send those out with every bid, and we finally figured out a way where it's fillable online. So hopefully we send the right one out. And what we encourage you to do is fill it out. If you want to send it before your bid, that's great. So we can talk to you and have more of a relationship rather than just getting it in the same day. But that's okay if you just want to send it with your bid as well. We just have to have it though.
Are you in need of cleaning service subs to partner with?
Absolutely. 110%. Every single job we have, and it's a big part of it, is cleaning services for apartments. So absolutely, please send us your information.
How does a newer company work with Block?
A newer company, I would assume a newer established company. I would say you need to call the estimator that's associated with your trade. And again, I'm gonna go back to the subcontractor information sheet. It'll be very important because even if your company is new, Hopefully all of us, if we start a company, have had previous experience. So you may say, hey, the name of my company is ABC Construction, but I started it last month. Is that a problem? Well, what's your experience before ABC Construction? Did you work for someone else and learn? Were you mentored? Tell us what you know. That's where we ask for references. The reason, one of the things that we ask for in the references, I want to expand on just for a moment, is previous jobs of a similar nature in complexity and size. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to take somebody who has, let's say, done $100,000 jobs, and then all of a sudden you bid a $2 million job and you may not have the bandwidth to do it. And look, we're the same way. We grow and we have to look at what we can handle as our company. There are jobs that I look at that I would love to do, but I simply say, it's just, we're not qualified to do it. It's too big, or it might be too complex, or it may be, various reasons. So being a new company is great. It's just, we need to communicate and we can work through it.
Does block companies handle design, architectural work, or do you build from plans?
Great question. We are not a design build firm. However, I'm the head of our pre-construction department. So what we often do is we are involved as soon as an owner, sometimes before they buy the dirt, very early on. And as the design progresses, we pretty much meet with the owner, the architect, MEP, structural, civil, landscape, all the designers, and we have input on the design to help, I want to say, keep the budget in line and, make sure the project goes. So they do rely on us. So it's great to have subcontractors that we can call and say, hey, we're looking at this and I've done this before, but what do you think? We'd like to ask, again, we are not the experts. I'm not sure what a palm tree costs. So I may say they come in. So we're all about communicating and just sharing as much knowledge as we can. So we participate in the development of the drawings from start to finish on 99% of our jobs.
So this gentleman has submitted some bids to block companies, and he would like an opportunity to meet in person. Is that possible?
Yeah, yes, it is. As we all know, it's been a little crazy with COVID. So we haven't been allowing visitors to our office. We have relaxed that. I will tell you, if you come to our office, we have big signs on the doors that say, welcome. If we can socially distance, we're good. If not, then we require masks. And we still do that on our job sites, despite what the state has done. We still want to be prudent and protect everybody and make sure everyone is safe. I will tell y'all right now that our bidding schedule right now, I think everybody's working 7 days a week, at least 12 hours a day. So I would ask that you have a little patience with us. But if you bid to us and you want to meet face to face, I would recommend emailing either myself directly, and that's my email address you can see in the middle of the screen. It's jekeller@blockcompanies.com, or Dierdre, who sits 3 offices from me. And she and I talk every day, lots. And I will try to most definitely meet with you. Sure.
Are there MWSBE goals on these projects?
I would say on every single project that we build in the affordable market, and again, I'm going to stress again, 95% of our revenue is affordable housing, absolutely has MWSBE Section 3 goals. Let's talk about that for a second. In the city of Houston, okay, since we're talking a lot about projects in Houston, I'm telling you, I'm begging everybody, please get certified with the city of Houston. There's a lot of national certifications that you can obtain through the county, possibly through HUD, through other certifying organizations. The city of Houston does not acknowledge any of them, 0. You have to be certified with the city of Houston. And again, the times we're living in, that they're so volatile, the city of Houston is working remotely still. So everybody is, as we are on this wonderful video conference. So it's hard, and I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know everyone understands. You're not as productive, so they're a little backed up, which is understandable. That's kind of why we are too, is it's hard to communicate perfectly all the time this way, but we're getting better at it. But it takes anywhere from, depending on the city and their backlog, I would say 5 to 9 months to get certified. So if you're not certified now, that's okay. Get certified. The work is going to still keep coming. If you're certified right now, please, 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 I'm begging you, we want y'all to bid. We want to work and offer opportunities to everyone out there. We are working with some contractors that we've teamed up with other contractors who hadn't had multifamily experience work. We've teamed them up with some people that we know that have it. So we try to mix and match. We try to do different things. We've broken down scopes of work and the smaller scopes of work where it's feasible. That's not always feasible, but it's very, very important. I'm going to also encourage everyone for the city of Houston, it's mandatory that 10% of all of our hours be worked by apprenticeships. No, that does not mean you have to join a union. It has nothing to do with unions, but you have to be enrolled and your company has to be enrolled. And I'm not the expert on this. This is more Amanda's field of expertise. But in a Department of Labor approved apprenticeship program, we have all the information. We know who you need to call. We know how to set it up and everything, but we need you all to participate. And please understand, if y'all do this, you have a leg up on your competitors. There is no doubt, no doubt. So it's vital. If you want to grow, you have to follow those regulations, and you follow those regulations, and there'll be more work than you can shake a stick at.
Shauna Holt, I think Jason already answered your question about MBE certifications. Here's another question. Do you use project managers on contract?
Do I use Oh, you mean like a third party project manager? No, we do not. All of our project managers are on staff and employed directly by Block. I'm trying to think. We really, as far as managing our projects and running them, our superintendents, assistant superintendents, project managers, assistant project managers, they're all part of Block. They're, on our payroll. We typically don't third party that. So no is the answer.
Does Block companies use trucking services directly, or do you do that through another vendor?
So I would say most of the time we do it through our site work and earthwork subcontractors, but there's a lot of times that we do, in addition to that, we do some of the work and we will hire trucking companies as well. What we like to do, especially with trucking companies, is if you're a minority trucker or a woman-owned trucker or whatever, we want to make sure we get your information to our earthwork subcontractor, because you can work directly for them. They just may not know you at that point. So we try to team people up that way as well.
Does Block companies partner with companies to place resident amenities such as vending machines?
That is not a decision that we have within our purview. That's the developer and the owner. We pretty much, build the complexes. We put in amenities, but that's part of what they call FF&E, fixtures, furnishings, and what's the E, Dierdre? FF&E, I'm going blank. I can't remember, but the owners provide all that typically.
I've got it. Yeah, makes sense.
So there's your vending machine.
I have a trucking and brokerage company. I would like to help with transportation solutions. Who would I speak with about your customer routed freight?
Ooh, that one, you can email me that. That one may be a little bit more involved. I haven't done that, honestly, but I'm certainly willing to talk and see if we can work something out.
I don't quite understand this question. Maybe you will.
Okay.
Jason, how contracts get paid out through the job, for example, painting bid? I just don't understand that question.
How do they get? Okay, so I guess I'll answer it the best I can, Mark.
Okay.
So if you are the lowest responsible bidder, let's talk about that for a second. Just because you're the lowest price doesn't mean you're the lowest responsible bidder, right? You got to have the personnel. You got to have possibly, if it's a $2 million painting job and you can't bond it, that's a problem. So it's lowest responsible bidder. We always try to pick the best person for the best price. It's not just you're low, because I don't think that really benefits anybody. But anyway, so if you're a painter, you bid a job and you get the subcontract with us, we send you a subcontract. And within that, it outlines the terms and conditions of payment, which mirror, they have to by state law, our payment provisions that we have with the owner. Typically, they say they pay net 30 days. Honestly, some do, some don't. But what we do here is we try to keep everybody paid up as much as possible. I know that payment to smaller companies is vital. And I'm going to say something here that I'm sure my whole staff is going to choke when I say this, because I will say we're not a bank. You know, we don't have endless money by any means. We have budgets just like you all. But we understand if there are certain trades or perhaps certain companies that you might be the lowest responsive bidder, but you may need a little bit more frequent pay durations. That's something that we do sit down and work with you on. We just don't stake a hard line and say no. Like I said, some of my team may be gasping when I say that, but I understand. When I started out, sometimes I needed to get paid a little bit quicker. So we try to work with everyone within reason.
And so I have an answer for Ms. Alston and Mr. Navarrete. I suggest you get in touch with Dierdre Barrett. Would Jason have the ability to talk briefly about projects beyond Caroline? I think you did discuss that, indeed, didn't you?
We have,
for example.
Yeah, so Tim is coming up. It's a 96 unit, 5-story on a podium right behind us is I-55. I mean, it is on 0.344 acres. I mean, it's tight. So that's a job that we'll be starting probably this July. And Gabriela, as you were going forward, as we said, what bids next week is actually in Fort Worth. It's called Cowan Place. There's Caroline. That's fine. You can stay on Caroline. My bad. That's Cowan. That's Fort Worth. That's bidding. Oleander's just bid, but again, you just never know if the opportunity. We haven't made selections yet, and when bidding is over, it is over. I would not substitute someone who's too late. We have to be prudent, fair to the people who worked hard to meet the deadlines. But again, for example, like trucking, if you have a trucking company, then I could possibly pair you with an earthwork contractor and give you at least the opportunity to speak to them. The other one is apartments on Caroline, again, which it will be bidding in May, I believe. April 27th.
Yeah.
And again, Houston.
So this is a question about, does Block use paralegals for its work, or do you have in-house paralegals, notaries, and notaries?
Yeah, we have notaries in-house.
Okay. Does Block track and monitor the progress of each contract from award to completion, or is this subcontracted out? That's a good question, I think.
So I want to make sure I understand it. Ask me again, Mark.
Does Block track and monitor the progress of each contract from award to completion, or is this subcontracted out?
No, it's tracked by us. So there's different ways to track it in which we do. Obviously, once you've been selected and you're on the job, you're going to be monitored daily by the project superintendent and the assistant superintendent and perhaps a field engineer or whomever may be there. You'll have interaction also with the project managers. One of the things that we do with our subcontractors is we have a weekly subcontractor meeting. At that meeting, in addition to first going through safety, which is a primary concern. We want everybody going home the same way they showed up, safe. But what we do on every week is we have what's called a 3-week look ahead. And our superintendent sits down, and it's very simple on an Excel format. And literally it has the days of the weeks across the top and the subcontractor on the left and where you're working. And we put X's in the boxes, and we talk to you all about schedule, and we interface because all of the subcontractors are at those meetings. So we try to avoid conflicts, and we try to get everybody working together and on the same page. So we definitely track it week to week, because I can tell you if you were supposed to paint through unit 10 and the next week comes around and you've only painted through unit 2, my superintendent's going to be saying, whoa, what's the problem? We didn't get those 8 units painted. In addition to that, we have project coordinators that are in our offices who assist with billings. So another thing that's very critical for this type of work is your pay applications have to be very well put together. And I want to stress this so every person on this call understands this. Let's say we have a pay application and we are halfway into the job. So we've got site work guys, utility guys, plumbers, drywallers, framers, roofers being roughed in, electricals being roughed in, So what I'm getting at, there's a lot of subcontractors on that, right? The way affordable housing works is everybody submits it and we look at it and we do our best to catch everything. We're not perfect. We may not catch everything, but here's the deal. If we don't comply with the proper paperwork, they kick it back and say redo it, and the clock starts over. So it's super important that you get your paperwork right. And actually, before we start our projects, we don't just have a pre-construction meeting to talk about construction. We have a pre-construction meeting to talk about construction. We have a pre-construction meeting about billings. We have a pre-construction meeting about safety. We have a pre-construction meeting about compliance and billings with our accounting department. So we try to address everything up front. No doubt things happen, but when those things happen, the person at Block who's responsible for monitoring it will call you and work with you to get over that hurdle because it stops the whole train. But we're right there with you. I just want everybody to know that when you're talking to each other, make sure everybody's doing their work because it affects us all.
To answer Maribel Rodriguez's question, yes, they utilize staffing services. Here's another question about warehouse services. Any need for warehouse services?
Yeah. Yes, there is. Well, let me rephrase that. When you say warehouse services, are you looking to work in a warehouse or are you leasing a warehouse?
I think they're referring to they can provide a warehouse.
Absolutely. Yes. Send me information. I'd love to know how much square footage, what the lease is, so we can talk about terms, where it's located in the city. A lot of our projects have little to no parking or lay down areas. So yeah, we do utilize that.
And another question, Latarsha, certainly you can email Dierdre Barrett regarding your question about transportation. These sheets are very helpful, but how do we get them? And Gabriela, we're going to send them out at the end, afterwards, aren't we?
Yes, like I said at the beginning, we will share the PowerPoint and the presentation. It's just give us like 24 hours because we want to make sure that everyone who registered for this event gets them, but you will get them. So just the latest will be tomorrow by 5 o'clock, but you will get the PowerPoint and the presentation and the recording as well.
Dierdre, just make sure the subcontractor information sheet is just part of this. Let's include the actual separate fillable sheet that Gabriela, if you don't mind, could send out to everybody. That way you could fill them in.
Absolutely.
Definitely, we'll do this. I mean, whatever we can do so we can have more people encouraged to apply for block companies to become subcontractor. I also want to get in touch with those clients of MBDA that are certified with the city, or those new clients. As you know, you can come with us and we'll help you certify. Just so you have an idea, to be certified right now, they're getting 100 applications per month. So they are working, but it's a long process and it's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Is Block involved with building management or maintenance? I would assume that's an owner question. Is that correct, Jason?
Yes, it is an owner question. We don't provide maintenance services, I'll say, within our contract.
Does Block need support from a software company for improving its workflow?
Always open to improving my workflow. So I guess the answer would be I'll certainly take a look at it. There's a lot of different things out there.
Okay, so actually the person who was asking, I thought they were asking about the how to become a vendor, they were actually asking about the sheets that are project specific, that had the various trades color coded.
We can
Copy of
also
those.
send links of those as well.
Okay.
We call those our project flyers, the project flyers for our projects ongoing right now. We'll send those to you as well.
Yes,
If-
Deidre, please do that. So we'll make sure that they get the links to the projects, the links to the PowerPoint, the links to the subcontractor vendor sheet, and the
Yeah.
presentation.
We got it. Thank you.
All of our documents, we provide you digital links. It's all at no cost. You got it all. If you need to come by our office and take a look at it with a paper copy, we always have that available for no cost for you. And I will tell you, if you do work in Fort Worth and you do want to bid on the Cowan project, they don't take City of Houston certifications. It's very specific, but we have a certification. I'm sorry, we have a subcontractor information form for that project. So if you're interested in the Fort Worth project, we send you that one. On it, we detail where you have to be certified on. And one positive thing about that particular project is to be certified minority or woman-owned takes about 7 to 10 business days. And boom, you're.
I think that's it. Are you saying more, Bella?
No, I think it's great. I mean, we've been spending almost 40 minutes answering questions. So I think Jason has been bombarded with questions. So I think, there has been an impressive overview of everything you got to do. I think one of the things that I really like about Jason that he was talking about was feel free to communicate with them. I know right now with COVID, we're staying home, but email and phone numbers are really good. Just give them some time. I believe Deidre is available, so feel free to reach out to her as well. And besides that, I want to thank everybody. Jason and Deidre, would you like to say some words?
Deirdre?
Just thank you. Thank you for your time, MBDA. Thank you for the opportunity to come on with Subs and Sandwiches. We wanted to do it for a long time. We've got all these great projects in Houston for subcontractors to become involved in. Please let us hear from you. And you see our contact information, reach out and we will respond to you by email or, you can call me on the phone.
I'd like to thank MBDA as well. We've been after y'all for a while and I'm happy to be here. Thank y'all very, very much. Y'all have a great organization. People who are members and attendees here are lucky to have y'all as a part of their team, I guess, and available to help. And everybody, I'm telling you, I don't know if every contractor tells you this, but we are not your normal contractor. We do care. We're firm but fair. We're professional. We do what we say, and we only expect the same thing of the people that work for us. And we want to grow, and we want y'all to grow. There will be growing pains. There'll be bumps in the roads, but we can do this. So please, y'all reach out to us. We need everybody together to be a success.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Enjoy.
Y'all too.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Bye-bye. Let's
Bye-bye.
build success.